Hi. I just finished a small trip with my friend, or at least had a small meeting with a friend, which is pretty nice. Um, but that's not what I'm here to talk about today. Today, I'm talking about how fucking stupid my generation is. Now, some people have argued this for a while. They might have argued this in the past, and I mean centuries ago. I don't mean a few years ago. But in general, I think that I'm in the worst generation possible. Why is that? It's because we're doing a lot of stuff. Like most of my generation has been doing the dumbest shit, as well as constantly shoving ideologies down our throats. And it's irritating at this point. If humanity gets extinct, this is why. Now, let's start with the first one. The talk about most of my generation doing absolutely stupid shit. This is because of pranks, mostly. That's one of the reasons that I'm discussing this. What pranks? Well, there's the one that I showed a clip of a long time ago, where this guy is on the railroads. He is sitting in front of a desk, and then a train stops right on his back. And him, another guy, and another one got in jail. Two of them, including the guy on the camera, got 3 years, and the other guy got 2 years, which I definitely think is rightful punishment for an asshole that decided to halt a speeding train just because he wanted to, even smoking a cigarette towards the end, which makes him a fucking asshole. And then the other one I'm referring to, apart from others, is when this couple wanted to do a prank, and the prank was shooting a 50 caliber bullet through a book, which I'm pretty sure anybody with eyes can tell that it is definitely going to pierce through and demolish the book and whatever's behind the book. And the boyfriend got killed. The mother, if I recall, went to jail, and all that was done in front of their daughter. So, what a great way to send off her life, I suppose. The other stuff that I want to bring up is just how shitty a lot of high schoolers are. And this might also boil down to my experience. Those others might agree as well that my generation is pretty terrible when it comes to general debauchery. I mean, we have freaking made up graffiti on the bathroom walls, we have dicks being strewn on books, and we also have my generation in general doing stupid trends like the devious look challenge that happened like 2 years ago. That shit is still stupid. I can't believe that genuinely became an actual trend for a while, even if it was just a month, among other things. um so isn't that nice? Just being a great example by stealing something, showing it off in the internet, and then being caught because you're a dumbass like that. That, and there's some people that just like to show off, and just in general. But for me, the one that gives me the biggest gripe is people that decide to pose with guns just for the sake of, hey, I have a gun. Like, again, you might have heard my stance on guns. This is a reason that people advocate against them, because we have idiots that like to show off their firepower. Why are you doing this? You're making yourself an easy target, and it's not being helpful at all. You're just showing that you're a narcissistic, devious piece of shit. Now, the other one, which I think might be less of a big deal, but I still think should be just suppressed a little bit, even though its intentions are good, is having ideologies down our throats. There are some things that are pretty stupid, like I remember hearing that nobody should work. Why? You have to earn your keep, and if you're not willing to do that, you're a lazy dumbass. And there's the other ones that have good intentions, but their repetitiveness is what holds them back, like going for equality and representation in both in movies, in games, in stories, or just anywhere in general. And the fact of the matter is that even though minorities deserve equality, not all minorities in general wish to be part of a certain production, or there's it's more correlation, but it's not causation, if that makes any sense. And it feels like in writing, just in general, some people treat aspects of a person as a scapegoat for them to be good. Like, oh, this person's a Mexican, or this person's black, therefore they're a great character, or hey, this person's trans or bisexual or gay or whatever, and that immediately makes them likable. That's not usually the reason. For me, it's better if you write a well-written character and they happen to be those things. Like Miguel O'Hara, one of my favorite Spider-Man, he happens to be a Hispanic. Miles Morales, an awesome Spider-Man. I platinumed the game, and I also saw Into the Spider-Verse. Still need to watch Across the Spider-Verse, and he is black. You can say he happens to be black. Would Miles be any different than if he were a different race? Possibly. There's an argument to be made because some people have representation in mind for a character, but they write them off very well. Like, they write them very well. And with some people, like potentially some recent Marvel movies and some other productions in general, like maybe Forspoken, they're just tacked on, and that's it. That's all that makes them good, I suppose. Even though some attempts are genuinely lazy. That, or just the movie in general is bland. What else? Oh yeah, the one that some need to just calm down about, as me being honest, pronouns. Now I get it if it's a person that you know, that you're in pretty close relations with. I mean friends wise, don't mean necessarily relationships, like intimate ones. It's okay to emphasize your pronouns, especially if they get it wrong. However, if somebody gets it wrong, they don't know you, and they don't understand your stance as a person, you don't need to immediately bastardize them for using the wrong pronouns. If you're going to be with them for a while, then it's okay to be like, hey, these are my pronouns. Please use them as I hope you do, and thank you in advance. You don't have to be like, hey, this is this and this is that. I want to be this and I want to be that. Yes, you can be your own person. That is absolutely true. That's absolutely fine. In fact, I honestly think girls should start wearing flannels. I think that's something that could catch a trend very quickly. But you don't have to shove it down people's throats. When you make something like that your personality, then it becomes grating and it becomes a problem. Everybody that I know, that I'm close with, does not make this a problem. Either they say it once, or they might reference it a few times, or they might even poke fun at it, and they do it in a self-aware way. And as long as we're laughing with them, not at them, it should be fine. Why do we need to constantly stab somebody in the back or stab somebody in the gut just because they misgender somebody at least once? Well, once, for people that are courteous, yeah, that should be enough. Twice, that's a little bit iffy. 3 times, yes, maybe at that point you should be a little irked. But if it's always by accident, just understand that they're trying their best, okay? That's all we can really do at the end of the day. Just try our best. And on top of this, we also have virtue signaling on that subject. We have so many fucking people that like to say that they are good, or they like to stand for in behalf of others, and there are a bunch of companies as well that like to do that, and probably lazy ways, of course, because they're going to change their banner for about a month. They might be in black and white, they might be in a rainbow, and they do nothing else. Like, to my knowledge, there hasn't been a handful of companies, if at all, that have donated to certain causes for the ethnicities or the minorities that they claim to be supporting, which is incredibly lazy. That's also why I only briefly touch on them, because yes, I am all for equality, but I feel like I can't do that much in my power to support everybody. So that's why I don't like to go over that much. But if companies are going to make it a big deal, then they should genuinely be advocating for that. Stop doing shit like calling people that play Hogwarts Legacy Nazis.
By supporting this title, you are essentially aligning yourself with some really heinous transphobic values.
Stop calling people that don't watch a certain film a racist or misogynist.
And I don't know why men don't return the fucking favor.
You're not helping anybody. If you think you're helping yourself, you're not. You're just ruining your own reputation. And the fact that we have to censor your fucking names in order for us to be courteous on your behalf, it's getting ridiculous. And taking accountability is another thing that people fail to do. This is the last one that I'm going to bring up because I feel like this is a very important one, more so because of certain things that have happened recently. But if you can't apologize to somebody and you can't take accountability for what you've done, you've already failed as a person, especially if you're already at the age of becoming an adult. If you're an adult, get some fucking responsibility for what you're doing, because you're otherwise a coward and an immature child in a man's body. And as long as you keep denying things that you've genuinely done, you're going to stay that way and you're going to look disappointing to everybody around you. That is an absolute fact. It is not anything to be discussed against. So, with all that said, and with me getting riled up a little bit, is there hope for the future? And to that I say maybe. Because there are some genuinely nice people out there in the world that may or may not be part of our generation. You know, we got Keanu Reeves and Mr. Beast and several others. Those two are the biggest ones in my head. Keanu Reeves because he's just an absolutely wholesome guy, and Mr. Beast because he does so many good things and he's run so many good projects. And while people do take him as a role model, and while we certainly have our own fair share of imitators, the fact of the matter is that somebody brought up that he monetizes this in order to do it more, which is an understandable thing to do. Some people like to, the most critical way that one can do things is just simply by supporting other people and just trying their best to not acknowledge it. I think that's what makes the best people. It's what makes the most humbling people, and it's what makes the best role models as well. So anybody that doesn't like to have thanks for things they did and things that they just briefly go for, just give them thanks anyway, because they're probably trying their best without you even realizing. So yes, there we go. Big rant over. Is this gonna change anything? No, but I just felt like talking, so I already talked. Am I gonna do something else for another video? I don't know. I might, because I have an idea, and for those of you that have followed me on Instagram, you might know what I'm referring to. But as of right now, I don't know what else I'm gonna be doing. So yeah, that's it. Even though this week's gotten decent, and what happened today was pretty fun. So yeah, just be safe. If you're still watching this in the summer, just make sure you stay indoors, drink plenty of water, don't stay outside beyond 30 minutes if it's 100 degrees, and I'll see you around. Yeah? Alright.